Number 7. Drugs in the trunk. In March 2019, 2 young women from Carlton County, Minnesota, found themselves in some serious legal trouble when they were taken into custody for allegedly transporting a significant amount of marijuana and cocaine from Las Vegas to Duluth, Minnesota. 18-year-old Asia Ann Goebel and 20-year-old Tanisha Ray Martineau were arrested during a traffic stop in Cottonwood County. The arrest came after the police found 50 pounds of marijuana in the trunk of Goebel's vehicle. The incident unfolded when a police officer noticed a white Nissan Altima heading north with only its daytime running lights on, despite dangerous snowy conditions. Officer Beck followed the car, which was also driving too close behind a truck and changing lanes without a turn signal before the traffic stop. When approaching the car, Beck detected a strong odor of marijuana. Goebel, the driver, claimed that she thought her full lights were on when questioned. Both Goebel and Martineau denied having any drugs and said they were coming back from a vacation in Las Vegas. Suspicion led Beck to search the vehicle, where he found 25 pounds of vacuum-sealed raw marijuana and 25 pounds of marijuana vape pen wax in the trunk. Additionally, a small plastic bag holding 2.9 grams of a substance that tested positive for cocaine was discovered in a purse on the passenger seat. At the time, Goebel had $802 in cash in her purse, while Martineau had about $835 in hers. Both women were arrested and taken to the Cottonwood County Law Enforcement Center. Martineau admitted having knowledge of the marijuana, claiming it belonged to Goebel and was given to her by a big smoker they met in Vegas. This man was supposedly going to meet up with Goebel in Duluth. Asia Ann Goebel faced charges of second-degree sale of marijuana, third-degree possession of marijuana, and fifth-degree possession of cocaine. Tanisha Ray Martineau was also charged with 2 counts of second-degree sale of marijuana and third-degree possession of marijuana. Goebel also tested positive for nose candy in a preliminary drug test. As of the latest information that's available in September 2023, further details about the consequences these 2 women faced in court are unclear, since no subsequent media coverage has been reported. Number 6. Fake bonds. According to Vatican officials, in March 2014, Italian police officers arrested 2 individuals for trying to enter the Vatican with counterfeit bonds worth an astonishing 2.8 trillion euros. The arrested individuals were an American and a Dutchman who arrived at St. Anne's Gate on March 11th, expressing a desire to visit the Vatican's bank, which isn't usually accessible to the general public. Upon their arrival, the guards at St. Anne's Gate contacted the Vatican, only to learn that no one was expecting the visitors. This raised many suspicions, prompting the guards to inspect the men's briefcase. To their surprise, they found a cache of bonds, some of which had a face value of nearly 500 million euros. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, Vatican police officers immediately alerted the Italian authorities. Further investigations led police to search the hotel room of the detained men, where they found embossers, rubber stamps, and other tools used for the production of counterfeit bonds. Remarkably, the Dutchman was carrying 3 valid passports, a detail that added to the mystery of the case. Italian newspapers eventually reported on the crime, which had been kept relatively quiet by the authorities in order to safely continue their investigations. Some of the counterfeit bonds and other documentation contained grammatical errors in English and strange references to the late U.S. President John F. Kennedy and his late brother Robert. Media reports suggested that the pair of criminals was released from custody pending further investigation. Additionally, it was revealed that the Dutchman had once been arrested in Hong Kong 2 years earlier for fraud. Both a Vatican spokesman and a Vatican security official described the arrested individuals as naive in their attempts. Regrettably, no further updates on the case have been offered, leaving the consequences and legal outcomes for the 2 men unknown. Number 5. Getaway taxi. In October 2016, an unusual and naive criminal escapade unfolded in Arkansas. It involved a 20-year-old man named Hunter Cody Chafin. Chafin, a longtime resident of Berryville, attempted a bank robbery and used a taxi for his getaway vehicle. Then he used the stolen money to buy a motorcycle from the son of a Bentonville police officer. His actions ultimately led to a 9-month federal prison sentence. Chafin's attorney, James Pierce, acknowledged the strange nature of the case during a sentencing hearing, describing it as almost comical if it had happened to someone else. Despite facing a potential sentencing of over 3 years as per federal guidelines, Pierce argued for rehabilitation instead of a lengthy prison term, considering Chafin's young age at the time he committed the crime. Hunter Cody Chafin, tall and thin with dark hair and glasses, showed up in court wearing an orange Sebastian County Jail uniform. Throughout the long hearing, he exchanged several glances and whispered with family members in the audience, showing off his youth and perhaps his lack of understanding of the gravity of what was taking place. Chief U.S. District Judge P.K. Holmes III chose to sentence Chafin to just 18 months in prison, granting credit for the 9 months he'd already spent in jail since he was arrested. Also, the judge ordered Chafin to pursue his General Educational Development Diploma and go to counseling, mental health evaluations, and substance abuse treatments as needed. Pierce characterized Chafin's actions as immature, childish, and incredibly naive. Chafin entered the bank and initially asked about his account balance before returning a few minutes later with a note demanding the teller give him money, falsely claiming to have a gun. But in reality, he was unarmed with no weapon. After the robbery, Chafin made his escape in the same taxi he arrived in, going to a home in Bentonville, where he bought a motorcycle for $2,900 with the stolen money. The twist came when the seller's father, a police officer, received a call from the department about a taxi driver dropping off a robbery suspect at his address. Law enforcement officers then quickly apprehended Chafin. During the hearing, Pierce highlighted Chafin's challenging upbringing with a mother who used meth while pregnant, frequent maternal incarcerations, and a deceased father who was abusive and battled schizophrenia. Chafin and his sister were raised by their grandparents, who also struggled to address the emotional turmoil Chafin experienced. Chafin's troubled history included alcohol consumption from the early age of 15, marijuana use from 16, and dropping out of school after 10th grade. In a sentencing memorandum, Pierce suggested enrolling Chafin in the Federal Bureau of Prisons' shock incarceration program, a rigorous regimen that featured discipline, physical training, labor, job training, education programs, and counseling, ultimately aimed at rehabilitation. In this unusual case, Hunter Cody Chafin's naivety and misguided actions led to an unconventional criminal narrative, resulting in a prison sentence aimed at rehabilitation instead of punitive punishment. Number 4. Bad influence. In late 2019, an 18-year-old named Jack LeCouve was involved in the importation of over 200 grams of cannabis resin. His actions showcased a significant degree of naivety regarding the consequences of what he'd done. LeCouve barely avoided immediate imprisonment and was instead given a 2-year suspended youth detention sentence, contingent on his future behavior. This means that if he commits any new offenses within the next 3 years, the suspended sentence could be activated, resulting in imprisonment. The case came to light when a package holding the resin addressed to a relative of LeCouve's was intercepted by the Postal Service. LeCouve then granted Guernsey police access to his phone, revealing evidence of attempts to import another package believed to contain a similar quantity of resin. During the legal proceedings, LeCouve's attorney, David Thompson, portrayed him as a kind and helpful member of the community who'd gotten involved with a negative influence. Thompson explained the situation, describing it as a tragedy that a young man with potential had been manipulated into drug trafficking. At the time of the offenses in October 2019, LeCouve had just recently turned 18, and character references suggested that his actions were unlike him. LeCouve himself expressed remorse for his crime in a letter to the court, acknowledging that he'd spent too much time with people who took advantage of his foolishness. The bailiff, Richard McMahon, acknowledged LeCouve's willingness to confront his actions and recognized the low likelihood of reoffending. But he also emphasized the harm cannabis has caused society and stressed the importance of LeCouve's punishment acting as a deterrent to others. In the end, the court rejected any suggestion that Lecouve had been coerced or threatened into drug trafficking, emphasizing his personal involvement in the scheme. Ultimately, McMahon and the jurors decided on a short 2-year suspended sentence with the hope that the looming prospect of imprisonment would encourage Lecouve to grow up. McMahon said that while Lecouve was a young man, he still had a lot of maturing to do. Number 3. Drug toxicity. In 2022, a distressing case unfolded in Adelaide, Australia, where an elderly couple passed away in a hospital under suspicious circumstances. The couple's close relative, a 62-year-old woman believed to be their daughter, was later arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder. This incident highlights the suspect's naivety in thinking she could avoid legal consequences for her actions. South Australian police claim that both 94-year-olds Brenda and Linton Anderson were victims of murder, having been deliberately administered medication that led to fatal drug overdoses. Brenda Anderson passed away on March 16, 2022, and her husband Linton Anderson died on May 1st, both at Flinders Medical Centre. The police investigation revealed that the medication, believed to be the cause of their deaths, was given to Mrs. Anderson 4 days before her passing while she was a patient at Noarlunga Hospital. Similarly, Mr. Anderson received the medication at his home on the day before his death. The arrested woman is a family member of the couple, according to the police. She was taken into custody by major crime detectives and charged with 2 counts of murder. The authorities said that she wouldn't be granted bail and was expected to appear in the Adelaide Magistrates Court. Suspicions surrounding the Andersons' death came to light when toxicology reports revealed the presence of prescribed medication that shouldn't have been in their systems. Detective Inspector Mark McKechnie disclosed that the toxicology results were similar for both victims, raising suspicions that the medication was inappropriately administered. The investigation then shifted toward the possibility of foul play when no innocent explanation for the abnormalities could be found. It's believed that Mrs. Anderson was killed by someone close to her. But police expressed no concerns about the treatment provided by the hospitals, emphasizing that both facilities provided exceptional care. Detective Inspector McKechnie also clarified that there were no indications that external caregivers involved with Mr. Anderson were involved with his death. The investigation involved collaboration with the broader family of the couple, who were reportedly shocked by the findings. The suspect was officially charged in July 2023, so we'll have to wait and see how the case plays out. Number 2. Orange juice. In June 2011, an apartment burglar found himself in hot water thanks to his own mistakes. This criminal, James Mora, not only ransacked an apartment on Christmas in 2009, but also helped himself to a carton of orange juice from the victim's fridge and carelessly left it behind. Mora's actions were his undoing, as the DNA evidence from the orange juice carton led to his arrest and burglary charges. Among the items stolen during the heist on West 25th Street was a desktop computer, video camera, and still camera. James Mora had a troubling history with 12 past arrests, including charges of grand larceny, assault, and multiple counts of selling marijuana. The apartment building's superintendent, Hannah Cheek, remembered how Mora broke into the unit by kicking in a basement window's air conditioner. He then allegedly found some keys in the basement, which he used to gain entry to the first-floor home of Andy Wall and his wife Lita, who were away for the holiday. Cheek noted that the intruder wasn't discreet and made enough noise that she suspected there were accomplices. Realizing a burglary was taking place, Cheek called 911. When the police arrived, the thieves fled the scene but later returned to complete the crime. James Mora was later arrested and held on $15,000 bail. The victim, Andy Wall, expressed relief at this news, even though some of his belongings had been stolen. Wall also expressed unease about having his personal space violated during the incident, particularly because the burglars returned for a second visit, making recovery of the stolen items very unlikely. The boldness of the crime prompted Cheek to take more security measures, including changing all of the building's locks. She remembered that such incidents had been rare in the area, speculating that it might have been the work of misguided young people who underestimated the likelihood of being caught. Unfortunately, though, it remains unclear what punishment James Mora faced for his naive criminal escapade. Number 1. Distracted by golden retriever. In July 2023, a 42-year-old suspect in San Diego found himself arrested for a peculiar crime, showcasing his naivety about avoiding capture. The incident started when he stole a valuable $1,300 bike, a 2019 black Electra 3-speed bicycle, on the night of July 15th. The case took an unexpected turn when an anonymous tipster came forward to help authorities identify the thief. The San Diego Police Department previously released a video that showed the suspect's unusual behavior. In the video, after stealing the bike, the suspect was seen playing with the victim's golden retriever, Ace. Instead of making a swift getaway, the suspect engaged with the dog, expressing affection and admiration for Ace. In the video, the suspect was heard complimenting Ace, calling him the coolest dog and admitting love for him. He even suggested that the dog should come with him. The suspect's interaction with Ace was marked by friendliness, and he even asked about the owner's absence, expressing surprise at the amount of things in the victim's garage. Eventually, the suspect reluctantly left Ace, who remained in the garage, happily wagging his tail. Thanks to the help of community members and the tipster, the stolen bicycle was successfully returned to its owner. The San Diego Police Department acknowledged the outcome on their Instagram account, emphasizing the importance of community collaboration in keeping the city safe. This incident highlights just how naive the suspect was, since he engaged with the victim's pet on camera, unwittingly leaving behind more evidence that led to his arrest. Would you rather have a pet like Ace, the golden retriever who helps catch a thief, or have an aggressive dog that wouldn't allow the theft to happen in the first place? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.